Okay.
Yeah, I'll find out for you, man. But yeah, if you just go into Easel and you generate your G code and it does it all automatically. And I just ride with the automatic depth per pass unless I'm doing like a straight cut. If I'm doing a straight cut, then I'll dig it a little deeper.
Yeah, because all my regular cuts I run with Easel, but all of my V-bit I run with Carbide Create. Okay. It gives you a little bit more versatility if you haven't played with it, and it gives you a little bit of versatility with your cuts. Gotcha. It's nothing perfect. The best one I've seen is actually it's like a V-carve.
Okay. V-carve.
I ain't ready to spend that kind of money on V-carve.
I know it.
It's very expensive software, but it's very good software. I understand why people buy it, but until my business gets ready for that level of operating, I ain't dropping that kind of coin.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I get it.
All right, y'all. I think we are about ready to get started here. So I'm gonna change our view here, move it over to gallery. Woo!
Yeah, I'm gonna share.
Nice. Yeah, go for it. We're gonna do a little technical stuff here. We got Drew Dog here. Yeah.
Hey.
Actually, while we got everybody here, Drew here is getting married on Saturday.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very excited about it.
Don't do it, man.
She's awesome, Mike. You know she's awesome.
Don't do it.
Oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. She's super rad.
It's the best thing I've done.
She's super rad.
There you go.
Can't see how to do it.
I've done it 3 times. It's a breeze.
You trying to give her admin rights?
Yeah.
The pro.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Make host.
Yes.
Oh, I figured that out.
Good job. There we go.
Did we do it to me or did we do it to Colleen?
You have it.
You have it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, thank you, everybody, so much for joining this. This is fantastic. We are about to have our very first ever small business summit. This is huge. So we'll be going through a little presentation, but the goal here is that as a MakerMade community, we are able to share all of our knowledge with each other as makers are supposed to, right? And help each other do what we love to do more and more and more, and ideally become, something that you can make some money out of, right? So I think that's why a lot of us got into. That's why I originally bought the Maslow. My whole goal was I wanted to be my own IKEA locally. Ellen, who's there on screen, you can see that was one of our goals. And then MakerMade happened, of course, so it changed a little bit. But yeah, we're gonna have some great presentations. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Oh, you've got it.
Okay, so it shifted. Colleen. Hey, Colleen.
Uh-oh. Colleen. Oh, no.
Colleen, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Hey, can we clicked on to shift the host to Peyton, and then the screen shifted to you. So can you give the host to Peyton?
I can try.
Yeah, so click on like the little 3 dots on Peyton's name, and then say make host.
Alright. Peyton's not showing up. Hold
on.
If you see Patrick, you can give it to Patrick too.
Yeah.
If you see Patrick talking. Yeah, it might be because Patrick's talking.
Just 1 second. Yeah, that was really weird.
Okay.
Okay. I think I've got it back.
There.
All right, perfect. Okay, so Peyton.
Oh, don't let it shift again. Shift it
I
again.
did it again. Oh my gosh.
There we go.
All right.
Oh,
Squirrely.
oh.
Make
Like
host.
We got it. Awesome.
Peyton's the host. I see.
All right.
Thanks.
We did it.
All right. One other thing. Sorry, I have to get done this first. So go to screen share. Thanks. Okay, now I should be able to screen share. Perfect. All right, and sweet. There we go. Can everybody see the screen?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. All right. Let me expand this. Okay, guys. Well, again, thank you so much for joining. This is really exciting. So, like I mentioned, we're going to go around the horn first. Everybody give a quick introduction and just say one quick fact about yourself. So I'm Patrick, and I co-founded MakerMade. There we go. And then we'll do a quick MakerMade introduction, just how we got started as a small business and why that's important to us to support other small businesses. Then Dylan here, who has been a partner for MakerMade for a long time, is going to give us an overview on selling on Etsy. He's a real expert in what it takes to create a lot of interest around products. So really good information there. Then we're going to get some community stories from Lauren, Derek, and Ted on here, potentially Scotty B if he's available, hearing how they all got their start and what they're doing with their M2s today. Then Rui, who's on here, is going to give you a neat little intro into how he's partnering in a really unique way with MakerMade and something that is available for anybody to do. So he'll give you a rundown on that. Then Chad, who is a MakerMade team member, he's going to give you an overview on how to grow sales through social media advertising on Google and Facebook like we do. That's where we generate most of our paid advertising and sales is through social media. So he's going to give you some tips and tricks there. And then we'll close out with Sarah giving you a rundown on the marketplace that we have right now and how that's going to be improving and changing. If any of you all have used the marketplace up to this point, you know it can be a little squirrely, it can be difficult. We're going to go through an update, we're going to revise it and relaunch it at the end of this year, so it's going to be brand new just like our website was. And then we'll close out with some Q&A from anybody who wants to know more, just generally speaking. All right? So let's start by going around the horn. Let's start with Ted. Ted, can you give us just a hi and just a little something about yourself? You're on mute. Oh, still muted, Ted? There we go.
There we go. Yeah, hi. Ted Ferguson. I'm over here kind of close to the coast of California. I'm the owner of the Naughty Wood, my own little self-made family business here with me and my beautiful wife and a little helper kid in the garage. I do a lot of epoxy woodwork. My bread and butter, honestly, is a lot of charcuterie boards. And, you can cut those out. I'm cutting, 10 to 20 easy a day with the MakerMade. And so it's just, you put your design on there and get to cutting. And once you get the word of mouth out there and people see, how detailed this M2 cuts and you can even get custom orders and you can just work with the customer. So I'm trying to do my own side projects on the side, but I'm so busy usually with these cutting boards that it's hard to make the time.
Yep, for sure. Understood. Totally. Thanks, Ted.
Yeah.
Lauren?
Yeah, no problem.
Hi, my name is Lauren. Full-time military, and then try to do this on the side. My wife started this back when COVID started. I don't want to get too in-depth because I know we got a follow-on session, but just kind of got the MakerMade back in October of last year, or I'm closer to December of last year, and kind of grew it from there, building a small business. And yeah, hopefully my wife gets in here soon so she can actually do a little bit of talking as she's the primary owner of the business. I'm just the one that builds everything. So she does all the advertising and does all the work that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
I just like doing the woodworking. So
stuff's
I'll
hard.
leave it at that for now.
Thanks, Lauren. All right, Derek. You're on mute. Yep. Harley dude.
So my real name's John Smith. No one believes me. So I got my middle name Derek.
Huh.
But my real name is John Derek Smith. I live here in Indiana. I got the Maker 2 in November of last year. I had a Bob CNC before, and it was cool. As my first CNC, I usually did all my other stuff by hand, jigsaw, router, whatnot. So getting into the CNC world, I found the M2 and called and asked a few questions. And they answered what I needed, and I bought mine in November, and it's just run since.
Awesome. Fantastic.
I don't have a true business yet, but I do sell stuff. So I don't have an actual business per se, but I do sell stuff.
Sweet. All right, Rui.
Hi, I'm Rui Emerald. I own Oblique Design Build, brand new company. I'm just basically, like Patrick said, trying to make my local IKEA going on over here, pretty much, bottom line, and I just make all kinds of other stuff too. on the side.
Sweet. All right. Let's run over to Matthew. Matthew's iPhone. You there? All right. Billy. Billy Zama?
Hey guys, I'm here.
Oh, there's
Sorry.
Matthew. There we go. Hey.
I'm not sure how good my internet connection is.
All good. Yeah, just a quick intro, Matthew.
All right, guys. I'm actually a CNC owner currently. I do plasma cutting. And the thing about CNC is once you start learning it, it's kind of like Legos, man. They're all basically the same. So now I want to add to my inventory. I want a new machine. So I've been looking at you guys for quite a while, man. I'm very interested. I'm real big on Fusion, and I think I can integrate a lot of those things I do to your guys' software to be able to cut.
We got a lot of people who use Fusion 360. Yeah, for sure.
Because everyone want to see my work, sandbarfab.com. But yeah, super excited with you guys. Yes, sir.
Sweet. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. All right, Billy, you there? Okay. We'll jump over to this stranger here, Kevin. Kevin Kinnaman, is that right? Did I say that right?
That close. That close. I'm Kevin Kinnaman. I am the co-founder of Patrick Kinnaman.
That was good.
Awesome.
I'm a woodworker for 35 years. My first project was building a bed for Patrick when he turned about 1. And I have been doing woodworking in Texas and in Colorado and now living in North Carolina. I have a woodworking shop. I got into the MT course when Patrick got this great idea for extending this product line. And so what I mostly do, I do furniture, I build furniture, and I do house projects. And I use the CNC machine, the M2, to do some more sort of intricate work that would be hard to do with like chisels or with a scroll saw or whatever. It makes it really easy to do some really nice things with woodworking and not have to do, a lot of hand tools with it. So that's my interest in the M2, and it's just been a lot of fun. It's just really extended, my creativity in doing sort of more traditional woodworking.
Sweet. Thanks, Dad. All right. We had a Colleen on here.
Yeah, so I'm a owner and co-founder of All Out Metals.
Sweet.
I'm big into plasma cutting and doing a lot of automotive work and things like that. Been looking at MakerMade now for quite a while.
Okay. Well, thanks really appreciate you joining. Yeah. Hopefully we show you what this community can really do with these things. Ketty Johnson, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Ketty Johnson from Alaska, Kenai, Alaska, and I'm current partial owner in Madly Crafty. We do laser cutting, and I just bought the M2. Haven't quite got it up and running yet, but working that way.
Sweet. Well, welcome to the community.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also, just a reminder for everybody who's already got a business, if you make something with the M2, you're joining the community. We are putting together a holiday shopping guide. And so what I want to do is list at least one product from everybody's shop that we share in with the community as a way to drum up sales within, all the groups who make stuff here. So really going to keep pushing that out there. So I've got a post in the owners group that's got information on that. You just add your link to your shop and we will do the rest. So just keep an eye out for that if you want to include your business in there.
You can also drop your business in the chat.
You can also drop your business in the chat today. And we've got Peyton over here, who's awesome, and she's back from maternity leave. And she's helping out. All right. Hey, Mike Garza, you want to say hi?
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mike. Work with MakerMade. I've been with them for a while, for a few months. As y'all know, that I'm actually probably one of the first ones that actually started working with MakerMade, and I had a MakerMade first and foremost. And so far, I don't have a woodworking business, but I do have a couple other businesses that actually help me build stuff for my current business. So it's pretty amazing, man. And if y'all need any help, we're always here, 24/7, as much as we can.
Yeah. Mike's frontline support right here out of Texas. He was an early user of the machine, and we had to have him on the team. He's awesome. So yeah, he'll help you out for sure. James Newhart. Hey, James.
I'm James Newhart. I own JPN Woodworking with my wife and my daughter, who's currently doing my hair right now. My other daughter. I've had an M2 since I'd say about February, March, and I've made signs and made some money by from a local ski resort. And I also make my Adirondack chairs on them now. I used to cut them out by hand, but now I have back cut them out. So
awesome. You did a good job with this hair.
She can't hear you.
Dr. Falco.
He said he's at work. He messaged and said he works, so he can't.
Great. No worries. Sounds good. Scott, how's it going, Scott? Can you give us an intro?
I'm Scott from Michigan, and new to the whole environment since August. Did a couple successful cuts after calibration and some troubles and some weird things that happened. And then I had a runaway just recently that happened, but trial and error, and I'm working with it. And so I'm here to learn from you guys.
Sounds good. We'll just ignore when we have those issues. Lawrence, how's it going, Lawrence?
It's going okay. I am from Fayetteville, Arkansas. I am a recent stay-at-home dad, and I'm looking to make an investment in this system so I can get a business going in my garage.
Well, Lawrence, you should swing by. We're out of Fayetteville, Lawrence.
Really?
We're in Springdale right now, Ron. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. So if you ever want to swing by the office, just, we're building a table right now. So.
Okay.
Drop your email in the chat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're, Elle and I are off of, off by Woodland Junior High. Yeah, in college.
I live by Vanderbilt and Penguin Edge, right off crossover.
Nice.
Okay.
Yep.
So.
Go to the gym by you over there at the Planet Fitness there. That's funny. Awesome. Well, welcome. David, last one on here. David, you there? All right. David's on mute. We also have Chad on and Barbara and anybody else. And we got Dylan on as well. They're all going to be, actually, Chad and Barbara, you all want to give an intro?
As a pair? I'll go first. I am Chad. I've been working with MakerMade for coming up, I think 3 years now. 3 years. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch the growth and development of the company, and I was able to, I can hear myself. Able to get my wife to come work for us as well, which has been a lot of fun. So yeah, I'll hand it over to you, Barbara.
Hi, I'm Barbara. I am customer service. So.
Yep. Barbara's amazing. Yeah.
That's all I really have to say. Oh,
and then we got Dylan.
Hi, I'm Dylan. I own Faytown Designs and Etch, and we'll go over Etch here in a minute, but Faytown Designs is a product development firm. So I like to claim if it's made out of wood, metal, or plastic, we can probably design and create it. So we help companies take napkin sketches to, feasible prototypes and then full-scale manufacturing. So we actually help design and fabricate the first, the first M2.
Yeah, you did.
And the second M2.
And the second one. So yeah, Dylan helps take the ideas from here and then puts them over here. So it's great. All right, y'all. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll get officially into it. Let's close that. Here we are. All right. So everybody hopefully can see my screen again. So MakerMade was founded in into 2018. Some of you all heard this story. Ellen and I were moving to New York, had completely different plans. This was not a planned thing, but as you know, striking while the iron's hot, all those things, I could not miss out on this opportunity to do what? Oh,
You're probably the only person who uses this.
Can you mute Matthew? But MakerMade was really founded on a $20,000 loan. So we started extremely small. We're still fairly small. And, we've built it up from there. But we started out doing just little bitty sales here and there and just kept growing it. Hey, Matthew, can you go on mute? It's all good. Let's see. It's not working? It's all right. So, yeah, anyway, with that, for us, we know we've been there. We've been where small businesses are right now. We're still small, honestly. And it's important to us to help other businesses grow and become what they are hoping to become, because that's what we were doing. It took others helping us out along the way to get where we are today and to continue growing to where we want to be next year and after that. So for us, community really means helping others get to where they want to go, because that's what this tool is all about, and that's what this community and just the maker DIY movement in general is all about. But you can see here, this is our first prototype of the M2, and then this is me and TJ, who's our sourcing guy. We were in China working with some of the factories directly for the component sourcing. This factory makes our motors, and then here's Ellen holding the first M2. We're small and we're doing all this kind of by the seat of our pants too. So, whoa, who's drawing? Mike drawing. How are you drawing?
Sorry, it was an accident. I was like, what's going on? I was trying to erase it.
I don't know. That's wild.
We're gonna report you.
I don't know how to do that.
Now we know who took down Facebook.
Right? It was Mike.
Hold on, oh, here we go. I found it. I'm gonna erase it.
You can undo
There
it?
you go.
Okay. All right. So, hey, it wouldn't be a MakerMade live event if we didn't have all the technical difficulties, right? All right. So we're going to start out here with Dylan giving us a rundown on selling on Etsy. So, Dylan, if you want to take it away, I'm going to mute myself here. Okay. And just let me know when to go to the next slide.
Yeah. I'll try to keep this one kind of brief. So, just a brief rundown on Make It Etched. We started out making wireless chargers out of a local makerspace where we'd order these walnut wireless chargers down the lower right corner from China on Alibaba. And then what we do is we would laser etch them and then ship them to our customers. And initially we started selling on Etsy and we tried selling to local boutiques, and it was really slow to kind of get rolling. And what really popped off was we started releasing new products around Christmas of, probably 2020, Father's Day of 2020. And then Christmas started getting a little bit more hype, so we started releasing new products. And then we really exploded the next year when we started doing this desk lamp. The desk lamp was, we try to focus on everything personalized. Initially, we were just working on anything etched. Now it's just anything personalized. So now we're doing laser etch. We've got some pillows that we're doing through a third party. And we initially started out doing the prototypes ourselves and then outsourcing everything else. Now, as you can see behind us, we're doing all the laser etching in-house. We've got an awesome team. We can go to the next slide, though. So, Etsy's a little overwhelming sometimes. So the way I'm going to try to simplify it is there's this process for the first 3 steps. I like to say design, test, repeat. So when you're thinking of new products to release on Etsy or any other platform that's kind of similar, you want to design a new product, you want to take photos, you want to play with as much content as you can. So change descriptions, keywords. Virtually, you're going to give yourself all these assets that you're then going to go test across different listings, and then you're going to see what works. So you might change just a basic product photo across 2 listings and then see which one gets more clicks or gets more revenue. And you're going to start highlighting what those milestones are that identify successful products. So all you got to do is start with your, product photo description, release it, just make it public. Worst case scenario, you might not make money on the first 1 or 2, increase your price. All you want to do is get people buying. And then once you find something that's working, start hashing it down. Just like start rolling out. You can advertise other places if you want. Sounds like Chad might end up talking about that later. The other thing is SEO. If you don't know what SEO is, do a basic Google search and learn what SEO means. Etsy is all about SEO. So what that means in the most basic terms is keywords. So if somebody searches for custom gift for men, what's going to show up? And how can you get your listings to show up for that? So I would highly recommend just looking into it. How do you increase SEO for Etsy? How do you increase SEO overall? And then the next thing is, if you can, try to take high enough product photos. Don't just take it with your cell phone across the room with bad lighting. Etsy's mostly focused on, if you imagine you search for gifts for men, you're going to scroll, and you want that first photo to be a clickable item. You want to sell somebody based on the first photo. So just invest some time into trying to figure out how to take at least a decent photo, and again, play with different photos. Another key topic would be the conversion cycle. So everybody knows this. If you've ever bought anything online, you know what it takes to go from searching a product to actually buying it. But each of these steps is a different spot that you can lose somebody. So really think about how you could lose somebody in each of these steps. So if you're a customer, you're gonna search for whatever the search term is, custom gift for men. You're gonna keep scrolling. So how do you stop them? How do you get them to click on your product over other people? Sometimes that's a price, sometimes that's a photo, sometimes that's different offerings, etc. And then once they click on the listings, they're going to start looking more towards the description, pricing, the images. You're going to have more images in there, and then they're going to look at the shipping details. If you can offer free shipping, do it. If you just increase the price just a little bit and offer free shipping. There's tons of studies out there saying that free shipping entices more sales. And then the other thing is, once they add to cart, there's a chance that they'll add to cart and they won't purchase it. And Etsy has a back-end feature in the marketing section. Don't get scared by it. Just start clicking around, play with it, see if you can figure out how the advertising portal works. The way Etsy ads work is you only pay as people click on your products. So if you want to allocate a daily budget, you can say the max that you ever want to spend is $1 a day. And that's how much you'll spend on advertising as people keep clicking on your products. So if if it's $1 a day and you get 10 clicks for that day, then what's going to happen is it's going to stop advertising, but you can still get SEO. So it takes a little bit of searching, of just seeing how Etsy ads work. I would recommend go ahead and allocate a few dollars just to play with it, something that you're comfortable with. I started with $1 a day, went to $5 a day. Now we're advertising, I think we set our max at 100, but we probably only spend about $15 to $20 a day right now.
Gotcha.
So, but that's all I got. Feel free to let me know if you guys have any questions.
Yeah.
Did you want to do a Q&A after this? Or?
I definitely want to leave it open briefly for some questions. I have just some. So just to summarize, it sounds like you're saying that you need to make it eye-catching, the listings eye-catching, and then make the process very convenient for them, right? Like any place where they would bottleneck or get frustrated is a chance to lose them, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You just want it to be a very simple and clear process.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to know exactly what they're buying, or else they're going to hesitate.
Yeah.
If they don't know what they're buying, they're going to be like, ooh, why would I spend $100 on this, or why would I spend $5 on this?
You also mentioned selling something below cost or at a reduced price just to get stars. That's a big part of it too for you?
Not necessarily that. It's more of, I'll start at a lower price or a higher price, and I'll change it over time based on, what our manufacturing process looks like. So we might not make money on a one-piece order, but as we start doing 10 pieces a week, that's where we're profitable. So just getting the data, I assume a little bit of a loss at first on certain products if we have to really compete with everybody else on the market.
Sorry. All right, I'm going to stop sharing for a sec, and I'm going to move it back over here. All right. Okay, great. Well, thanks, Dylan. I appreciate it. Who else has questions for Dylan on this? Dylan's got
I had a quick question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I'll get into it when we discuss the business portion, but our business, we have not touched Etsy, but for only one reason, is we know that it's a dangerous game you play with how much you can actually sell. And my biggest concern was me doing it as a side business right now, being able to control production of the sales. Is there an easy way to set it? Like, hey, this is where we cap, like it's sold out at this point until I can reproduce? Because that is our real concern. We were looking at doing it in December. I have time to take some leave and
inventory
and take some time off and then really test what I can produce. And that's really our concern, because we're doing well in other markets, but we know Etsy's really where that's the destination we want to go to.
So there's two recommendations. One is allocate a certain amount of inventory. So you say that you only have 10 on hand that you can make in a given time, or you only have 10 on hand at that time. Just say you have 10 pieces. Once it sells all 10, it will mark it as sold out, and the listing won't allow any more sales. So that's option one. Option two is, if you know about how long it's going to take you to produce something, you can change the average lead time per order. So for instance, our desk lamps. We cannot stock the desk lamps fast enough. So what we do is, instead of saying 1 week for us to produce a desk lamp, we say 4 to 5 weeks, and we will buy inventory, ship it here. That takes 1 week. Takes another week of sometimes the funds to go through, and then 1 more week of production, and then we ship it out 2 weeks early. So you can specify how long each order actually makes. So you could technically make each one to order if you really wanted to.
Okay. Yeah, I was just more concerned, and I've read places that it was always good to make the lead time longer and then ship early. It makes you look better. The customer feels better about their purchase. But I was really just concerned because Christmas time, I don't know what it is, people will suddenly feel in the buying mood, and it don't matter if they have money in the bank or not. They'll spend that money. And the last thing I wanted to do was come home and realize I have $10,000 worth of orders to fill and 3 days to fill it. So that was really kind of a concern I had moving forward.
Sounds like inventory management can help solve that problem for you. So yeah, great. Cool. Sounds like you have an opportunity to kick the tires there. All right, guys. Well, we're going to, any other questions before we go into the,
I have just one quick one. So
Sure.
My business is mostly personalized items. I'm not familiar with Etsy whatsoever. I was actually going to start, biting into that and seeing how it really works. And so I'm glad that you guys touched that topic. Is there a way that you can, do it for custom orders, or, say, hey, does it require these guys to drop a deposit, or do they pay in full? And do you have like a allotted time that you give them, that you have to give them the order, or, can you kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah, so let me start by saying that whatever you want them to customize, however you want them to customize it. So if you want them to type out text, there's a field on an Etsy listing where it's a custom field where the customer types it in, whatever they want, before they click add to cart.
Okay.
So that helps. And then what was the main part of your question? It was about the process.
The process, yeah.
Yeah, so once it goes through, once the purchase goes through, the full funds will land in your account in about 1 to 3 business days. And then as long as you produce it and you send it to them, transaction's done. Once the shipping's marked as complete, delivered, and everything, and no cases resolved or left unresolved, case is done, products with them. However, if you take longer than expected, so you say it's going to take a week to produce and you take 2 weeks, some clients will request a refund. And if you're in the middle of producing and they request a refund, that's where it gets a little hazy. So be very transparent about your lead times. You don't want somebody to, request a refund. And you can deny refunds, but they can always report it to Etsy, and Etsy's going to make the decision at that point of whether they give the funds back or not.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Okay.
And to add to that, you should always over-deliver than under-deliver. That's basically what the whole concept of that is.
Yeah.
Dylan,
sure.
do you find that in all your research that if you have a longer lead time, people are less likely to purchase something?
Yes, that is correct. So we try to keep the shortest lead time possible on the listings that is safe for us. It comes down to that same thing of are they going to buy your product that ships in 2 weeks, or are they going to buy this product that ships in 3 days? And some people want to buy something for Christmas. Is this going to arrive? What if there's a shipping delay in 2 weeks? Nobody knows that. A lot of questions start arising once it gets to the longer lead times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Great.
So, real quick, I'm sorry. When it comes to lead times for custom work, because that's really a lot of us, that's what we're doing is custom work. And the sales that we've had in person and on Facebook and Instagram, a lot of customers, even though our standard turnaround time is about 72 hours, a lot of them seem very comfortable with like, oh, I can get it within 2 weeks. And we have a lot of customers that they'll pay and we'll have it ready in 72 hours, but won't pick it up for 2 weeks. With that in mind, what have you found bracketing wise is that best time, that best lead time that balances customer acquisition, but safe zone for you?
Yeah, so honestly, I could give you our number. It's not going to correlate to your distinct market. What I would do is just go on Etsy, search similar products, and see what their lead times are. Try to match those if you can, because that means that you're going to stand out, or you're going to be at least in the herd on that.
Okay.
Great. Any other questions for Dylan? This is awesome. Love hearing this.
And I just had one question about Etsy. And how do you get on top of all the people? Is that through search engine optimization? SEO?
Repeat your question?
Like, in other words, how can I make my product be on the first page, second page, third page of it? That's basically, I know it's a lot. There's a lot of people to compete with,
It takes time. I will say that. SEO takes time. So Etsy, there are, 3 factors that affect whether you get on the top page. One is you can change your title of your listing, and then you can change the description of your listing, and then you get 13 tags, I believe. And what those tags mean are like, if I sell a custom wireless charger, I can type in the word wireless charger, and we're one of the people that show up on wireless charger. So in order to rank up, you need to be one of the top selling items for wireless charger. So you want to get 5-star reviews, you want to start selling volume. And as you keep selling more and more for that very specific search term, you will rank up on that first page. I think, honestly, I think we're only first page for about 13 large keywords, maybe like 10 large keywords. It's taken us a long time. But you can typically see results within, 3 to 6 months to really almost.
Is it good to change keywords, like on your website? You know how you're always adding stuff for your website? Because I'm a graphic designer, web developer, and I'm always changing my words and always updating my website every single day.
Yep. So this is part of the design test repeat. So you get analytics of what keywords, like what kind of search volume you're getting and how many clicks you're getting from certain keywords. You want to keep viewing those and seeing, like, say you have a keyword that nobody's clicked on, get rid of it, put a new one in, update your listing. You can also have 2 separate listings, one with 13 of the first keywords you want to use, and then one of the other 13 that you're wanting to test. And then as you identify top 6 from each, you create one listing with all the top performing keywords. That's how we do it.
Smart. That's very, very smart. So basically 1 item, 2 listings, and then you match it.
Mm-hmm. Smart. And there's a really powerful tool called, I'll drop in the chat.
Oh, great.
It's called Marmalade. If you're really serious about selling on Etsy and you really want to learn SEO, I would recommend paying or trying their free trial just for a month. But what that gives you is it gives you insights into like the, how much search volume are you getting off of this specific keyword?
But that's strictly for Etsy.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
That one is. There's ones for different platforms.
Yes, of course. All right. Awesome.
Yep.
Great. All right. We're going to leave any other questions for the final Q&A just to make sure that we get through all the presenters here. So I'm going to go back and share my screen again real quick so that everybody can see the questions. And all right. So Ted, if you'd be willing to jump in. So actually we've got here, guys, we've got a product from Ted and we've got a product from John Derek here. So Ted, can you give us a bit of information, just kind of a rundown? You gave us a little synopsis of your business at the beginning, but just real brief, give us an overview of what you sell and who you typically sell to, where you sell on online today.
Yeah, hi. So pretty much it all started with my fascination with epoxy. I love working with epoxy. The things you can do with it is unlimited. And then I went from, just making a couple for family and friends to everybody and their mom, wanting cutting boards or whatever it may be, or custom table. And so I was thinking, how can I do custom, not just shapes, but custom engraving and then inlay it with epoxy and, all that good stuff. And so that's when I reached out and, I was doing the Google search and I seen the Maslow, and then I was doing a little more research, got the M2. I've had it for about a year now and I got it dialed in. And so, yeah, pretty much we just make a quick, simple epoxy board here. This one's clear. It's actually going to be a skateboard.
Huh.
It's going to be a coffin-shaped skateboard. I'm looking at it.
That's awesome.
So pretty much that's how I got started. And then, doing the custom stuff with the M2, it just really, really increased my business. And so that's where I'm at now. I'm doing most of my sales on social media. Instagram is where most of my stuff is.
Okay.
I'm at the Naughty Wood at Instagram. That's the Naughty Wood. You guys feel free. I haven't dove into Etsy yet. That's why it was a really good conversation piece that you guys had there. I'm glad you guys touched on that. And that's just a little bit of what we do over here.
Awesome. And you gave us a good rundown there. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. So what is, Ted, what's one piece of advice that you might give others who are trying to get started selling things online or sell the first product, let's just say?
You have to be willing to give everything you got into what you do and be personable and get your product out there. For me personally, a lot of things that I did was I gave to some fundraisers and to the community and attached some of my business cards, and before you know it, people realize the craftsmanship and the detail of your work, and you'll have more orders than you know what to do with. And so that's pretty much how I did it. Just social media and just good work and just word of mouth.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Ted. Appreciate it. Hey, Peyton,
no
we've got James Newhart on. Is this just me or is that on your view too?
What? That's my Adirondack chairs.
Oh, okay.
That I use M2 to make. I used to cut them all up by hand, but now I use the M2 because it saves me a ton of time. Because I don't only make Adirondack chairs, I make cutting boards, custom furniture, and everything. But I'm actually in 2 different stores. I was in 4 from 2 different stores, and I have a website that most people contact me through. So I started out with my Adirondack chairs, and then I moved it into custom signs for local venues and stuff like that.
That's great. Sweet. So you found the M2 is really helpful for even the Adirondack. Like I was always unsure about whether Adirondack chairs would be good for the M2 because it is so many straight lines.
The straight line part I actually do on my table saw, but the curved lines are easier to do because it's harder to cut a curved line out with like a bandsaw, then have to cut it to the line and then stand it to the line, then router it over. Where I could go and put it. We call my M2 Blue Pig. We just put the boards up, I design them on it, and I put it on Blue Pig, and then it will just cut them out while I go cut out all the straight lines.
Yeah, awesome. That's great.
So
That makes total sense. That seems like I love that combination of like traditional, or not traditional, but table saw plus CNC. That to me is like the sweet spot for this thing. Like you should be getting it to do the things that it can do well, and then speeding up the process through a table saw for those straights. That makes so much sense. That's great.
Because I mean, the N2 is great, but it's not as fast as certain things, which is whatever.
For sure.
But it's like having another person.
That's great. Awesome. Thanks, James, for sharing that. Derek, can you give us a rundown on your end? I've seen your Adirondacks there. Can you? Should be good.
Oh, am I up? Sorry.
You're up.
So yeah, he was talking about those chairs. I made these years ago, and I did them out of hand, out of pallet wood. Let me turn my thing back around.
Yeah, while you're showing us that, can you just give us a rundown too on what you're selling right now, Derek? You were giving me a rundown earlier. I'd love to hear it for the rest of the crew.
Yeah. So my biggest thing is I started out with what's called poker chip display boards. Harley Davidson riders go to Harley shops, and they used to buy T-shirts to show what dealership they've been to. On the back of the T-shirt says, Indianapolis, Indiana, Fort Lauderdale. I just went to Vegas, so I got some shirts in Vegas. But T-shirts are like $30 a shirt or more. So Harley started selling poker chips, and the poker chip has what dealer they're at, what city, state, whatnot, and so people started collecting to show where they've been and traveled. And they're $1.50, sometimes $3 a piece. So I collect the chips of where I've been, and I can show all over the United States where I've been with these chips. So I started making a display. Harley sells a picture frame. You got to take apart, put the display in, the chip in, put it back together, and it's basically a picture frame. It's hard to do. So I figured out that the chips have a metal disc in them, and I came up with a design to where you take a chip, and it's got a hidden magnet in the back. And since the chip's got metal in them, the chips you just stick in place with the magnet in the back. A hole drilled from the back to put the magnet in, a hole in the front to hold the chip in place. Leave just enough wood where the magnet still has enough pull, but you don't see the magnet anymore. So that was the biggest thing I started doing. I was doing them by hand with a drill press and a jigsaw and everything else. And oh my God, that's where I got into figuring out how to do the CNC. And the M2, it was just so simple. I was using Adobe software to try to create my designs, which is a nightmare. I didn't even think about easel until I got with the M2, and they suggest using the easel software, and easel software is just so simple. I also have a Cricut cutter, and I haven't used for a while, but the Cricut and the easel software are almost identical.
Awesome.
So
great. Derek, how many orders did you say you had open right now?
I think I have like 11 or 12 open orders right now, which could be more. I just don't. I'm still in the amateur side of it, so I don't have. I got business cards. I actually have poker chips made with my logo and everything on it. My Facebook page. But I'm not trying to push it too much because I'm still a Harley rider and I love to ride. So I got 73,000 on my 2015 bike. So we go on trips everywhere and I like to ride. So I'm not pushing my sales like you guys are. And I've thought about Etsy and things of that nature. I'm just worried that I'm going to get too busy. It is fun still, and I want to keep it fun. I don't want to be overwhelmed by just working on it. So just kind of a side note, the opposite scenario of kind of what we talked about in growing the business. I'm kind of trying to keep it low. I'm not ready to move huge. But I've had people ask me, why don't you do this for a full time? And I probably could, but I'm just not ready for that step yet, I guess. But I think I could do it with this M2. I mean, it's so simple to use and cuts so nice and does, all kinds of custom work that I could probably do like you guys are doing, my own business and actually go to work for myself.
Guys, you know what you're seeing here? Sorry, Derek. I was just going to explain that Derek pocket cut that piece of wood from behind, and now you're seeing the light shine through. That's how flawless he's got his Z-axis calibrated. Isn't that wild?
So, yeah, it cut left, I think, 0.10 of wood.
He's got a 1/10 of an inch veneer.
So that's the backside of another one that I first did. It's reverse cut, and on the other side it's totally nothing. You don't see anything. And I'm going to take the laser that I bought from MakerMade, and I'm actually going to laser the other side, so you see an image during the day, and then at nighttime, of course, you get the LED glow.
Very smart.
Right.
So I'm going to incorporate the M2 with the laser and the pocket cut reverse, and get the LED lights to glow.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, I'd love to go do more. I got people that want more, and I've got people asking for stuff. I'm still a hobbyist, I guess, as far as the business side of it.
That's cool. That's great, though, Derek. That looks fantastic. Thank you so much, Derek.
And the one thing to say is to go from hand tools to the M2 with so simple, it's amazing. I've told a local retired shop teacher from Turkey Run local school. He's like, "Oh, I'm worried about the computer side of it." I said, "I have you up and running and do it in an hour." It's that simple.
I'm glad there's some of us out there who call it simple. That's great.
Once you get it calibrated and you're running,
yeah,
it's simple.
Right on. Awesome. Well, thanks so much. I appreciate it, Derek. All right, let's jump over to Lauren. Lauren, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yep, gotcha. All right.
So
yeah, go for it.
Me and my wife started our business. Well, she started it back when COVID. So being in the military, they kind of sent us home. Said you're working from home for the next few months. So I think it was like March of last year, and then she started doing the basic door rounds that you see, the decorative like welcome signs on the front of the doors. And I didn't really think it was going to take off. And I was like, there's no way, like, people don't have money, they're not working. And I strongly underestimated, like, wives wanting to buy decorations for their house. And it just kind of took off. And then we ran that for about 6 months. And I was like, I am sick and tired of cutting circles. And if I don't have to cut another circle, I need to figure out how to stop that. And so I found the M2. And I really wasn't, like, I looked at a lot of different CNCs. And I was like, I'm just not ready to drop $10,000 or, you know, like a large sum of money on a huge CNC. To run it that way, and I didn't really want to cut out a bunch of squares to put in a tiny CNC just to do the same thing. So we stumbled upon the M2, and I did a little research, jumped in a couple of meetings, and if you haven't joined, not been as diligent in the last 3 weeks because my work life is kind of taken away from it, but if you haven't joined the meetings on Thursdays, is a fantastic time to like kind of get to see other people, and they talk you through some of the issues if you're having any issues with it. But
I was about to text you if you didn't show up to this one, Lauren. I was about to text you and be like, "Hey, check on you."
No, I literally I worked all the way through like almost 5:30, 6 o'clock. Like I was on the dot, barely able to get home. But and then we really have our niche. We make a lot of different things. Our company's name is Made with Love. I really don't like the name. My wife kind of just made it up on the whim, but it doesn't really have that like professional ring to it. So we're looking at basically the end of the year as I get closer to kind of my retirement time frame or transition time, like how much can I make this a business, and then where it kind of goes. And I'll show you just a flash because we kind of keep it simple. One of the best things that I had a leader tell me is like, you want to present well, but don't perfection get in the way of good enough, because the average user isn't prepared to spend the money you're going to spend on your time. So like a lot of our stuff, you'll see like, this is a Christmas ornament, right? It's just a dog paw print cut out with the names in it, right? So we did a show last weekend, and we sold out of these within a few hours. Just a simple, easy thing, just putting the dog's name in it. You can see here's a plain one. We just made a bunch of blanks, and they just take off, right?
That's so pretty.
Dog tags, we throw a little chain on it, just a still dog tag, and it goes to town. And then we got more of the advanced stuff that we do, which is kind of one of these. Ladies love these things. The door, the bedroom signs. I know that's kind of in reverse, but a giant round with a custom name on it. They put it over a baby's bed, and we sell these for like $80 a pop, right? So it's not crazy. A lot of custom work, but it's just reaching out to that customer. But that's probably one of the best advice I can give you is learn to build everything yourself so that you know what you're looking for. And I say that like I was talking to Derek and Ted. It takes a few minutes to learn how to build your SVGs, but once you learn that, you save money in the long run, and it completely opens up your market. Then you'll end up buying, and I bought an SVG before, and then I saw the final one. I was like, I'm buying trash, like, because the machine is garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you if you're noticing your cut looks a little funny, and you've taken the time to calibrate, a lot of people are like, oh, the machine's the problem. It could be the file you're using. And I ran into that, and I've done it myself. I'll be like, man, I look at the product I built, and I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Like, that looks horrible. And I go back and I'll be like, well, it's probably because I built the file wrong. And I left it like an extra joint or extra spot in the file. So take your time. I can't encourage it enough. It'll save you money. I've got somewhere like 30 or 40 different custom designs that I'm looking to drop into the shop that I owe Patrick to show, like, all these things, because they're very simple. And a lot of the stuff, the customer base, like, I think it's really cool what Derek has done, or Harley Dude's done. But we found that there's a niche market in that, and it's hard to sell that to the average user. A lot of them are looking for the more simple things, and we've grown exponentially from that. I'm really excited to the end of the year to really I'm going to take about 30 days off and then dedicate that time to just seeing what we can do and to see where it goes. Because if it's ready to take off and I'm ready to turn this into a business, then I can look at my actual transition from the military and do this more full time and work for myself. I think what makes this organization better is things like this. Like I ran into an issue, and I'm telling myself, I called Mike up and I'm like, hey, we're having issues with machine's not working. And he spent 20 minutes with me just to find out that I had a bad power adapter, right? And, we teased and laughed about it, but you're not going to get that customer service in a lot of different other machines. And you're also not going to get a group like this that's willing to sit down and talk to you. So I don't know. I know there's a lot of people looking at it, but yeah, it's just, you get out of the machine what you put into it. And like, I'm one of the persons that, like, hey, if you have questions, because I spend a significant amount of time learning the different programs, finding out what works best for me, because I use a whole, like, from Fusion 360 to Carbide Create to easel. There's a whole slew of options, and there's no way I can take up the whole market share of designs and wood products. So I'm all about if someone else needs help, or I'm also about, like, I saw Ted's stuff. That's some pretty sweet. You got your V carve down pat, and while I've got some decent ones, I can always improve, right? So that's what I really enjoy. And I wish my wife was here, because she'd probably go on and on. But yeah,
that's awesome.
It really turned up our production rate. It went from, okay, we can produce, like, it takes a whole day to produce 15 circles and build everything together, to took me a couple of hours. The last thing I'll do is, there's shortcomings with any machine, right? But for me, don't be afraid to push it a little bit. Understand, maintenance your machine, level on your machine a little bit, and it'll go a long way for you. I played with just about every bit. The 1/8" bit cuts great. The one they send out, it really does. But it dulls, right? If you're having issues, the machine, believe it or not, more than likely usually isn't the problem. If you're on the Facebook page, it's usually not the problem. It's usually the bit's dull, because I did that. I have some ornaments somewhere that I was like, man, I need to recalibrate. And I realized my bit was duller than my fingernail, right? I was just like, oh, this is horrible. Put a new bit in, ran a champ. So I think what makes it great is this community. And yeah, my business hasn't grown that much. We're hoping to hit right around 30,000. I'm not trying to put that money out there. I don't know, like, but it's just as a side. Like, I only cut 1 to 2 days during the week at most. Most of the time, being in the military, I don't get much time off during the week. Usually I get home kind of late. So it's usually like a Saturday, Sunday, and usually only one full day, about 8 hours of cutting time that I get. But that's enough. It's just been my wife, like, she just took it and ran with it. So
yeah,
you get what you put into it.
Where are you selling, Lauren? What's your platform?
So we're actually, if I get out of the Army, well, my next station is actually probably going to be Florida by middle of next summer.
No, I mean, which platform are you selling off of?
Oh, almost. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good.
No, we're actually almost entirely Facebook and Instagram. I can show you, like, believe it or not, like, so that's it. I'll put this out there. If you haven't done a trade show with your products, you're missing out. So we had our most successful trade show we went to a trade show, and not all of them are created equal. Like, look at your price market. So, like, for Derek, don't go to a small, like, podunk trade show, because your product's going to be too nice and too expensive for the average user, right? but we also went to one that was in like a town north of where we live. The average home runs in like $400,000, right? And they looked at us like, why are you only charging $10 for an ornament? Like, I would spend $20 for this, right? So it's like knowing that market of where you're selling and knowing like how much effort you put into it may not be for the average user.
That is so
But
true.
we went to a sale last weekend, right? And the market there, just the timing of the show, we only made, I think it was like $450 in the day. We did one day, we made about $450. We came home, and within about 6 hours, she posted some of the pictures of the leftover product, and we had like 15 or 20 orders. And they just started turning over like that. And like I said, I really need, the goal is Etsy. I don't know if I can share. If you let me share, I'll show you like our different show. I can pull it up on the Facebook. But yeah, it's very easy to do. But try a show if you're looking to test the market. We start at the show and just put a few out there. So we're located in Georgia, and I was like, nah, nobody's gonna want these Georgia ornaments. I don't know if she has any here, but little tiny Georgia ornaments. They sold out within the first. She called me within the hour and was like, hey, they're gone. Like every last one of them is gone. And one of them was gone before the show even started. A lady come from another show booth and was like, hey, can I have that one? So we put a sold sign on it, right, and put it back up. Now, if anybody wants to do a show, wants to talk about that, we've got a lot of experience. I think we've done 10 to 12 of them. So a lot of lessons learned there. But yeah, I'm starting to ramble now, Pat. You gotta.
It's all good, Lauren. Thank you. I really appreciate it, man. For y'all, definitely reach out to these guys. They have so much experience, just a wealth of knowledge, and willing to share it. Just like he said. So yeah, we do host that weekly Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time, noon Eastern. I host it right here. We help people troubleshoot as a community. We come together and work on it, and then just talk shop. It's a lot of fun. Lauren, thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna go back and do another screen share. And Rui, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Let's bring this over. There we go. And I'm gonna pass it over to you. Okay, so guys, let's real quick pass that. All right, so check this out. So I'm going to give Rui a quick introduction. So Rui is he's an M2 user. He's an incredibly gifted designer and just all facets of making. It's really impressive. So Rui designed this camera, and I could not stop thinking about it. It's fantastic. It's amazing. So we have partnered with Rui, who came up with it, designed it, and now we are leveraging our manufacturing supply chains in order to drive the price down and then bring this item to market for the holidays. So this will be on sale on the website in the coming weeks. We're targeting a price point at first for pre-orders below $100, but it will mount directly to your sled, offer you 1080p resolution, and then work directly with Makerverse. Rui has done all of this. So Rui, sorry, I know I gave a little bit of an overview there, but please give us a rundown on how you came up with this and just kind of your experience so far and this type of way of making money with MakerMade, I guess.
Sure. So I had the M2 for probably over a year and a half now. Sorry, a year. I got it when I pre-ordered it when it was first came out. But so I started using it, and my space for it is a little shed in a detached garage. And I'm a type of person. I'm weirdly pretty lazy when I have to do any kind of manual work. So I ended up getting the CNC machine to basically get it to cut a full 4x8 sheet. And as I was doing that, a lot of problems would happen or weird things would happen when I wasn't there, or I'd step out for 20, 30 minutes because I had to go run to Lowe's or something to go grab whatever for a desk that I was making for somebody. So like I need to figure out how to watch this thing remotely. So I basically came up with the M2 Minicam. The little camera.
He designed that box too. So like,
oh yeah.
Rui, don't sell yourself short here. Like, this is amazing.
Okay, all right, sorry. So I designed and made this whole box. whole packaging, I mean, you open it up, it's got an insert inside, full user manual, and all kinds of stuff that came along with it. But I mean, we've been working on this for a few months, refining some of the packaging designing and things like that to get it really good. But basically, I came up with a camera, and I wanted something where I could really focus on the important parts of the CNC machine, which is obviously the bit going up and down and seeing what it's doing. And also, I needed a good way to troubleshoot, because a lot of times I come back and down in the corner somewhere, I just have something chopped off or doing something crazy, and I had no idea why. So I came up with a camera, I made it, designed a quick prototype on Fusion, 3D printed it, got some components from Amazon, put it together real quick. It was, at first I was basically running it through software called TeamViewer, where like I would connect to my computer and I could really watch it on my cell phone, which is nice, but it wasn't super convenient. It was really complicated. So I figured out how to get it up on YouTube, and it's great because now I can have clients actually watch the cut while it's being cut live, which is a weird thing, but people love it. But then on top of that, I can also record everything with the camera. So if, for example, I found out my CNC machine pulled up on a corner weird, and it was because a cable was actually snagging down in the corner that I had no idea was doing that the whole time. It actually ended up breaking a bit, and I was curious as to why the bit broke in the first place, and you could see the whole thing in the camera. I could play it all back and get it all figured out. Another really good thing too is the software that we use to watch the CNC machine. You can put Makerverse onto there. So if I have power problems here sometimes where my shop will use too many amps and trip a breaker. And sometimes that completely ruins my really long, like literal 20-hour cuts. And when that would happen, having the camera, I could see exactly where I was in the G-code, because I could put that on the screen while it was recording and be able to get into the G-code files, get right back to that point and keep cutting like nothing happened. It was great. It's actually saved me so much time.
Well, the other thing too is the fact that you can see exactly when your bit is touching the surface. Right?
Yeah. That was another major factor that I completely forgot about. I hated getting up from my computer space, going to go look at the bit and trying to zero it out, pushing it up and down, up and down, up and down, and guessing. And then now with a camera, you can literally see exactly where it is and get it right down on the surface pretty good. After using it a little bit, you're 100% confident you're touching the material.
It's awesome. So yeah, again, guys, Rui came up with this. He left a video of it or a post of it in the owners group, right? And he was like, "Look at this thing," and like people were like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, this is all by accident.
Yeah. And so then of course, like the whole team here was like, "We got to go talk to Rui about this camera because it's just a great idea, right?" And so again, MakerMade being a small company, like this kind of a relationship makes so much sense for us because it's really difficult for us, not super cost effective for us to go and find a ton of mechanical, electrical, software engineering support on the front end and then generate these products. The better solution for us, and the ideal solution, is a situation like this where somebody goes, "Look, I'm passionate about this product. I love it. I've made this item," and we go, "Oh my gosh, of course, everybody's going to love that." And then we just can say, "Let us partner with you so that we can both sell more units of this than either one of us could do separately." Rui's the latest example of that, but the Do board, that is designed and developed by somebody out of the original Maslow community. He still gets his quarterly payout from MakerMade because we partnered with him, and that worked out so incredibly well for us. Honestly, the way that I think, given the way that this community engages, the creativity, the talent that we have here, this is, to me, is the future of product development. This is how companies are going to be able to stay ahead of competition and innovate faster and faster. It's through like the excitement, the passion, and then the earning potential of members of the community who love the product, right? That is how I think MakerMade is going to continue to grow in the future. So I wanted to bring this up, not just to say we've got an awesome new product we're about to launch, because it is, but also to say that this is something that we are really, really interested in. And when opportunities like this come about, like Rui, when did we start working on this?
Literally probably 2.5 months now.
Yeah. So, and we're going to manufacture it right here. We're going to bring the components in, and then we're going to 3D print all the housings right here, assemble in-house in the US, and then ship them out under $100 for a completely custom camera. That's out of control, right? So super exciting stuff.
Is that going to be an add-on, Patrick, on when they're actually checking out for new customers?
Oh yeah. Awesome. Absolutely. We're going to do
I'll put y'all in the Glowforge game. I mean, like, Lightburn and stuff like that has that you can do it where like you have the camera for it, but this just makes a game changer, especially with the laser module too. You can watch that's awesome. It's such a beautiful design.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, he's just really did a great job on it. So we're super excited about it. So again, I know how much talent there is in this community, and so I really wanted to highlight this product because I want to get those wheels spinning for everybody else. We all know that this product behind me can do so much, and if we keep bringing ideas like this to the table, we're only going to bring more people into the community. So
I pushed that M2 machine to its absolute edge like crazy.
Yeah. 100%. You should share an image of your setup, Rui, because I know it's pretty,
in the back,
pretty boss. Yeah.
Yeah. I build all kinds of stuff. I don't know. I'm just trying to. Another thing that I do is just music studios and stuff like that. I got a lot of friends that are into music, and I'm actually about to go out to Colorado for a few months and build a crazy one out there.
Nice.
And I'm bringing my M2 with me.
So, that's awesome.
I am. I'm going to tear it right off the wall and just haul it over.
That's so cool. Well, yeah, so Rui's going to get quarterly payouts, royalties for this. It's going to be awesome. So I love seeing it. Love stuff like this. Great. Well, thank you so much, Rui. Let's see. What do we have next on the presentation? I think we've got Chad up next. So let me share that. There we go. And let's go. Yeah, there we go. All right. So Chad here, he is an absolute beast for this business. Gosh, Chad, you were like the first or second person we hired on the team, right? And overnight, Chad doubled our sales just by bringing an intense amount of knowledge around how to target new customers in social media, how to get the message out about what this thing can do. So Chad, with that intro, I'll let you take it over for me. Let me know when I need to go to the next slide.
All right, cool, thanks. So I really only put two kind of main topics to cover on here. I wasn't sure like the breadth of knowledge and like how deep to go in with everyone where we're at. So if we want to dive in deeper, like feel free to throw questions in the chat and I can like reach back out to everybody and message them. But
let's keep it 10,000 foot view at this point.
Keep it pretty high level. So the first part, really just focusing on the digital footprint. So one of the things that I see, like no matter what startup or new business I'm working with, there's always some issues with establishing your digital footprint, whether it's setting up Google accounts, Google My Business, Search Console, analytics, like getting all of those things linked together and communicating properly and making sure you have strong tracking if you have a website and understanding like how users are flowing through your website and just knowing like what the footprint looks like for your business on the web. And this is like so much more than just SEO. Like you can say SEO, all day long, but this takes it a step further and is really about like whether or not Google knows you're there or whether Bing knows you're there or Yelp or whatever. Secondly, creating a consistent social footprint. Whether you think you're going to be using a social account like Snapchat, TikTok, like those are things that we've even talked about internally at MakerMade, like, and have started using some of those this year. Lock those down because we know firsthand, like, those names aren't always around, and if you can get the name you want, it makes a big difference. Getting the MakerMade Facebook page was a big undertaking, which it shouldn't have been. It should have been something we would have been able to lock down early on, but it was a task. So lock those down as early as you can, whether you're going to be using them right away or not. It just helps. And then lastly, as far as like footprint goes, just like be on business directories, sign up on the directories that you can, whether it's a local chamber of commerce, industry specific directories, review websites that there's plenty industry specific review websites that will go and review products, or specific websites or things like that. And then making sure you're also on some of the lesser used search platforms like Bing and Yelp, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, which is a little bit more difficult, but just like having that extended out just past Google.
This feels like rising waters lift all boats kind of thing. By just kind of getting all the information everywhere you possibly can, you're going to create more chances for awareness. Is that essentially what you're talking about here?
Yeah, and really just making sure that you have all of your digital entities connected as much as possible. That's like one big area where, I've seen a lot of like even big companies falter, multi-million-dollar companies, $100 million companies that don't have their Google Analytics connected to their Google Business or Google Ads, and just like little things like that will help take you to the next level. If you're running ads or if you're trying to make optimizations on your site, there are things that get forgotten when you're kind of in that initial startup stage and you're excited about your business and you're trying to get everything set up. They're easy to kind of gloss over those and forget about them for years, and until somebody like me comes along and helps connect them for you.
Ron, good to go to the next slide?
Yep, next slide.
Okay.
The second part is just paid advertising. And Dylan touched on a lot of this with like the Etsy side. There's, he's really strong with the Etsy paid advertising. There's the other aspect of it, which I think sounds like several of you are using, like Facebook, Instagram, Google Ads. If you haven't already started and you're looking to expand your business, I would just say start small. Test a little bit on Google and a little bit on Facebook. Like really have tight control of your budget. Make sure you get those channels locked down before you expand to advertising on like Snapchat or Reddit or some of the more obscure channels. And kind of tying back into the previous page, like having that conversion funnel really figured out makes a huge difference too. So if you're actually spending money, you want to make sure it's working for you and bringing a return back.
Use those analytics, right? Like,
yeah.
It's not going to help you to test if you're not seeing what's working and why, right?
Yeah. When it comes to like Facebook and Instagram, don't get lulled into boosting posts or reach campaigns. So many times I see like a small business would be like, yeah, we're running Facebook ads, and we'll talk to them more about what they're doing. They're like, yeah, we'll boost their posts. That's fine. If you really want to take control of your money, and I assume you all do since you're all here, like get into the Facebook ad platform, set up conversions, set up conversion event optimization so that you can tell your Google campaigns that you want to optimize the campaign for people who are actually purchasing, not just trying to reach the broadest audience possible. Especially if you're starting with a small budget and you don't want to spend $1 million a day just reaching everybody. It makes sense to try to have a narrow target and then try to optimize for the event that you want on top of that. And then lastly, just test like crazy. We do a lot of A/B testing on messaging, on imagery, videos, landing pages, just like really understanding what resonates with your audience and what ultimately leads to a greater conversion rate. If you put out an ad that you feel like is great, your friends think is great, but you put it out and it's a bomb, you want to have something to test against to really know whether or not it performed the way you expected it to, or if you need to pivot and kind of move in a different direction.
Cool.
That's the gist of it. I definitely wanted to leave some time for questions, so if anybody has any questions, happy to jump into those.
Any quick questions?
I actually have one about the last thing, the camera thing. Rick, sorry. Will that work with the Raspberry Pi distro? Have you set up? Because it should. You're just using a module in there with the Makeverse with any just USB, just finding any USB camera driver, correct?
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem.
All right, perfect, cool. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay.
I don't know if this is unrealistic to ask in this forum, but when you're talking link all of your social, all your like Google, all your different accounts, how long does it take to explain something like that?
Not that long. So really when I'm saying like link all of your accounts, especially Google in particular, most of those accounts talk to each other as far as like passing analytic information back and forth. So when you go into like your settings on those, one, use the same login info, like the same user, or add the same user if you don't have it already. And then you can just go into the back end in the settings and you just link them. There's an option that'll say link accounts. You click on that, and if you're using the same email address, it'll automatically detect it, and you just literally click on it. It's a few clicks to link everything up.
So one of our concerns as we look to go full-time with this, or potentially full-time, is that, like, I'm talking to my wife, like, our name is just a mouthful. Like, I don't feel like I should take 5 minutes just to say my whole name to my customer. And then when I give a card to them, it doesn't, like, I mean, they know what it is, but it doesn't just give that, like, that look. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of manufacturers, you immediately see the card and you be like, oh, I know exactly what that is. Or you see the brand and you immediately see it. Do you have an LLC, or do you have a DBA, or what are you doing right now? How's your formation done? You talking to me? Sorry. Yeah. So right now we've only, like, we basically just did the basic. We're setting up an LLC. Like, the bottom line is we've basically taken this full year. We're turning into an official business this year. We've collected all the tax information. We're building the books, and then we're working with a family CPA to get it all set up.
Are you paying taxes or anything like that?
Yes,
any of that? Because I know when I started another business back in 2008, and I didn't do this for about a year, and they came for me and they got me, man. And I had to pay it was a $14,000 fine I had to pay for not paying my taxes and all that, just on the safe side, man. I'm just
that's exactly what we're doing now. Is we're putting that, we're specifically like allotting tax in the price and putting that aside for that whole situation at the end of the year. And then we're also doing our tax deductions. We spoke to a CPA last year, and that's what basically he outlined, like, hey, for your first year, as you kind of look at where you sit in the brackets, like earning potential and all of that. Because there's that fine line between what's a hobby and what's an actual business, and realizing like we're already making enough to consider it a business. And so the end of the year, like, we're looking at the next month as we get into November, we're going to sit down with him again and complete the process. We already recognize like tax deductions versus money made is what we're looking at, but we're also looking at, can we get to the end of the year and break even? And because my goal, I don't need the money now to live off of, right? But if I can build the business off the money now and use it as tax deductible, then I can really slam the business next year and start like actually full time. Yeah, if you do, what you can do as far as your name thing goes. So
My wife's she's a lawyer that specializes in formations, business formations or anything. That's why I'm asked this. But I would say you can do a DBA. People think people think DBAs for like their businesses. So instead of doing like an LLC wherever, you just do a DBA. So it's you personally doing business as whatever the business name.
Okay.
But you can actually get DBAs for LLCs. So LLCs can have DBAs. So you could do a formation worth your long name. So if you do the formation and you decide, okay, hey, I want to change a business name later, you can leave all your tax documents. You can leave everything else that way. Just go file a DBA for whatever. It will still be doing business. DBA is really cheap. You go down the tax office, get them. They're like $80 depending where you live. And but if you, one thing I will definitely recommend, because my wife and I spent a lot of time cleaning up bad LLCs, and so if you do get it, if when you go do your LLC, get a lawyer to do your LLC.
Yeah,
Don't get an accountant to do your LLC.
Okay.
It's not that bad, but because you'll have. But as far as the name goes, don't worry if the name later on is like, hey, I want this. Just get it. I have so many DBAs for our business.
We DBA too. So we're MakerMade CNC, and we DBA is MakerMade now. So Drew's right. We're LLC. So.
Yeah, and it's still do the same production, stuff like that. It just makes it easy. You don't have to do another formations. You don't have to pay all these extra things, do all this stuff.
DBA is doing business as, for those of y'all who might not be familiar. Also, who else loves that we're getting Derek's YouTube video over here, him spray painting one of these chip things? This is awesome. Also, guys, so we're gonna roll over to Sarah next. Sarah's our director of brand strategy, and she's already been pinging me about the idea of doing a branding workshop as a next up option for small businesses in this group. I think that's a great idea, so we'll probably talk a little bit about that or see rumblings of that coming up soon. But with that, let's go ahead and finish up with Sarah. She's our last presentation for the day. So Sarah, I'm going to share my screen again one more time. And let's max this out. There we go. All right, so Sarah is going to give us a little rundown on how you can earn passive income on the marketplace. And Sarah, I've given them a little bit of an update that we're going through a transition on the marketplace right now, but more to be coming. So take it away.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to get started just by kind of explaining how the marketplace came about. I've worked with MakerMade for a few years now, and I manage our whole brand, and that includes just how we want to interact with our customers. And from the beginning, Patrick and I, and really all of us as a team, have been really passionate about one of our biggest goals is to support makers and to help you all make money doing the things that you love. So that's really what the marketplace was born of, is just that desire to create a space for you guys to share all the cool projects that you're making with each other and just really build up that community. It really helps, like we've seen as we've started it really helps new people who are coming into making with the Maslow and the M2 get started, because they see a bunch of projects that other people have put together and created that helps them kind of get jump started, rather than feeling like they have to make everything from scratch. And it's so far given our experienced makers a really great way to make income off of, like we said, work that they enjoy doing and that they're already doing. So some really great things about our marketplace. We started it on just a very simple platform last year, essentially as a test. So everybody who's on the marketplace right now, there have been our beta users, just testing it out and seeing how it goes. And it's gone really, really well. So we have just a small handful of shops right now. Most are offering files for purchase. And right now the files are listed for between $5 and $20 on average. And those digital files, it's really nice because the shop, you can just upload your file as the shop, and every time someone purchases, it's just automatically delivered. And then we have Casey Connolly is kind of our first tester for selling a physical item, and he's selling the dust collection systems, which I'm sure you guys have all seen those if you're in our owners group, because he does awesome with those. And he's been selling those. They're listed at $160, and he's sold quite a few. So it's always exciting to see those orders come through from him as well. Another thing that we're working on getting listed on there is some kits. We're working on our own kits to kind of jumpstart it, but we'll be selling a file as well as different hardware components that will all come together. So they'll be able to have the cut file, and for example, we're starting with a table, so they'll get the table legs that are pre-made and like a cut file for the top of the table. And Scotty B, if you guys have seen him and his LED lights, he put together some LED light kits for us. Some other things that we would love to get put on the, like, listed on the marketplace, just different opportunities that there are like I said, the kits, any project files you have, any components or accessories that you've created for MakerMade. I mean, like I said, Casey's done really, really well with his dust collection. And the other thing that we don't have any listed yet, but I think would be fantastic, is just offering your skills and abilities. If you're really good at creating files or optimizing files or design, those are really great skills and abilities that people are looking for and need help with, that we could get listed in the marketplace. As Patrick said, he mentioned before, we're currently in a little bit of a transition because we're moving from our beta test phase into a more permanent phase. As you guys know, we just got a new website, so we're going to be migrating the marketplace over to our new platform, and it should provide just an even better overall experience. But if any of you guys in this call want to be notified when we're ready to take on new shops, you can just email me at the email list in the slide. It's just sarah@makermade.com, and we'll send you guys the notification.
Cool.
So I see Ketty says what file format they're used in the marketplace. We've been sending them just as zip files, and they're typically SVGs in a zip file, and it's usually the SVG and like a PDF of kind of, you know, just tips to get started, basically.
Yeah. So this is a way for y'all to, obviously, to earn like sort of a passive income, right? So we pay out every other week to anybody who's made a transaction. Right now it's 100% back. So if you list it for $5.99, you're going to get $5.99 back, right? We're going to have changed that and do a processing fee because it does cost us transaction fees every time we do it. But as Sarah said, we've been just wanting to trial it at this point, right? But think back to what Lauren was saying. This is something that I think is really cool. So Casey's working on he's got his physical like dust collection units he's making. Take Lauren. Lauren's got more project files than he's got time right now. Wouldn't it be awesome if the marketplace in the future could be a place where Lauren posts a project and let's say Barbara buys it up as an actual physical good that Lauren is going to make, but Lauren doesn't have time. And so then Ted says, oh, I'll jump into the queue and I'll take that. So Lauren gets a cut of the transaction for coming up with the design, and Ted gets a cut of the transaction for actually making the thing, and Barbara still gets her awesome product on time. That's the kind of way that we want to take this marketplace. It's not just a place to sell project files, or especially not a place to give away project files. I don't want this to be a thingiverse because the time, the energy that goes into graphic design is not represented right now. People don't understand, and we need to make sure that we're not undercutting each other by giving away free project files. So we're always going to say, please at least charge $1. So there's some transaction, but in the future, we want to get it to where it's not just a place to come up with designs and sell designs. It's a place like Etsy to sell actual products that this community is making together. So a lot of fun stuff upcoming. We are now 4 minutes over time from what I had promised originally. Thank you so much to all the presenters. This really was fantastic. Do we have any other questions, thoughts? Oh, yeah. I do have points, but yeah, go for it.
All right,
please.
Papa here.
Yeah.
I had a question for Chad. In transparency, we've used Chad before for some another project with our family. But Chad, the information you gave us then and the information you gave us today was fantastic. But my quick question is there like an online tutorial that could help explain more in detail what you have told us today? Because I would love to leverage some of that knowledge and information that you have about using Google and Google Analytics and all that good stuff.
I mean, I've put together resources in the past personally that could definitely be used for that type of thing. outside resources that I can send to you that I would highly recommend. Or, you know, I think you probably still have my number. Feel free to book some time with me.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So, and that actually leads into another good topic I was kind of mentioning from Sarah, is that this is a starting point for this proved that there's a desire in this community to come together and figure out ways that we can all earn money and be better about it and figure out how to use this tool to make something with it. So the next step is getting feedback from this group and others in the community saying, like, what would be a deeper dive area that we'd want to go into. So Sarah recommended, you know, like a branding workshop. She is an absolute, I don't know, pro at helping businesses realize their identity and express that to their target audience, right? So would an hour and a half deep dive with Sarah helping going through, oh, I like this about your logo, or I think you should be leaning into this more, would that be helpful? Would a discussion with Chad for an hour around, like, again, more deep dive into what does and doesn't work? Like, this is what I've been trying, why hasn't that worked for me? Like, these are all things that we can do, and ways that we want to, as a company, continue supporting these businesses as they grow and develop. So that's not necessarily something we have to decide right here, but just be on the lookout for questions in the owners group that say, hey, what do you think? What's the next step? What should we be focusing on? And I'm volunteering Chad's time. Don't worry, Chad's on the clock.
Barbara said she would also do an hour of customer service.
Yeah, there we go.
One quick thought I had just watching this, Patrick, is that, you know, I do woodworking, but I'm not really great at DM2. But I see people like John Smith, and that does really cool things that could be integrated into like a table that I could make. It just seems like there's a great opportunity with this group for partnership as well. Like, some of us may do some things really good and others may do other things really good. Being able to continue this, being able to get together as a group and understanding how we could partner together to do things as well might be a great opportunity.
Yeah, I love it. I've also been trying to get that guy, my dad, to give some tutorials on more traditional woodworking. He's fantastic at that. I grew up around a workshop and watching him teach how to, I didn't listen enough, but how to stain, sand, use the table saw, and everything. Like, those are skills that, you know, not all of us have, right? Or it takes a while. I got most of them, but I'm missing this one. So, like, having others around the community give presentations around stuff like that. You know, Casey does some of that too. You know, I think that would be a huge help. So there's plenty of opportunity, but yeah, I think it's going to just be, you know, maybe doing a poll, Peyton, right? Like, we do a survey and say, like, what would be something that you think would be really valuable?
Well, I think one of the areas of that, I don't know if I've touched on this, because I apologize. I was trying to get on earlier, then I ended up getting another client call. But what do you call it? As far as the setup, you have a lot of users that buy these that kind of try to figure out, like, 3D printers. It's something that y'all have done an excellent job of making it easily accessible and easy to use. But there's still people that have questions, that get frustrated, that need help. And it's like having a community where, in the marketplace, where, hey, for, you know, like $250 or something like that, like in Houston, Casey maybe could help you and do that, come over there and help you set it up. Or having places like in different cities where we do workshops, where they can come over and do workshops. Like, I have a little retail spot, so we could do a class once a month where people that are getting these who want to come over and learn and see them and play with them beforehand. Yeah. And having community workshops, and we could coordinate, like, with time, stuff like that.
I love it. And Jennifer says, can you all make a course on how to start? Yes, we need. That's a great idea. And again, I think that is a perfect place to bring in some of these, you know, stalwart community veterans to say, hey, you know, Drew from Can Opener, he's going to be running a Get Calibrated tutorial this month, right? Or, you know, we've got, Jennifer, just so you know, every Thursday, so tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central, I'll be hosting our weekly CNC call. We do it every week. And Drew is one, Lauren, John.
If she means how to start CNC or how to start a business.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Jennifer, do you mean start on the M2 or just start a new business?
Myself.
M2. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Cool. Yes. So I think that's a great call.
Yeah. I think because I think that's where some people may want to do the videos, but if you had one like even like bi-weekly or once a month, where if we had different users like Casey's in Houston, Lawrence over on the East Coast, and I'm in San Antonio, we could do where hey, look, we also have it on site. In Houston, it'll be this week at this address. And we could do it in the evenings or something like that. That way they could just come in person and not have to.
I love the local way of doing it. We got to figure. So Sarah, we got to figure out how we can organize
that. Really goes with that collaboration of all the users in the community.
You're right.
And because it makes me too where we do them like if we coordinate times where we could also video in like something the other teams or the other groups around the country too. We had a Zoom with a couple other groups around the country, so they were all following the same thing. Like that, but have it locally where everybody could be on site, something like that.
Yeah, so
or the option where if somebody wants to pay somebody to come out and do it at their house, they could have home services.
We got to get that geographical list going. That's absolutely right. We got to get that and get that consistent, like a living doc. Keep it updated so that everybody can see, like, hey, we're in Fayetteville. Who knew, right? That was hilarious. Okay, and we're getting all the thumbs up there. Okay, I think we have a really good first start. Yeah, lots of requests for this. Great. Okay, so I think that's a good starting point to help really facilitate this continued growth of community and engagement between users. That's awesome. Jennifer, I sent you just there that 2 tankards. That's Casey Connolly. He is just one of the strongest users in this community by far. He's got some videos on YouTube. Type in 2 tankards, and he's got some fantastic starting videos on really detailed work, how to get just dialed in, calibrated, set up. But yes.
I put it this way, I have my own team. Instead of me teaching my team members how to use the Maslow, I literally have them go watch Casey's videos.
Yeah. You see, there you go. He's not on here today. He's a busy guy, but yeah, he's fantastic. So yeah, you won't get hung up with those videos. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns?
Yeah, I got a quick one.
Oh, Dustin, go for it.
Okay.
Dustin.
The people selling on Instagram, are you selling through like direct messages, or is there some other process that you're doing that? Just real fast.
That's a great question.
I'm doing direct messages, and I was going to tag in. I guess I need to put these on the marketplace as soon as possible. My wife just walked in. She was like, "You're not going to believe this. We just got an order for 100 of these." So when I say like simple is better, yeah, I mean that's what are you doing here? Yeah, so that it can jump off like that, and it's just a direct message. So, yeah, I'll get out for me this weekend.
With Black Friday coming up, I'll give you all what happened last year. So my daughter, my 16, she's 16 now, but she's 14. She's had a little Etsy store selling slime and stuff, and she does really well. And so, we have an Etsy store just because we most of our stuff is prototyping and things, but we got just to kind of keep some extra sales. And so I had made these little dumpster fires as a joke, and for my kids' teachers. And somebody said, "Hey, you should start selling those." So I put them on Etsy just to see how they do it. And they'd been on there a couple months, and we were selling $50 a month, and we'd sell a couple here and there. My daughter's like, "You know what? For Black Friday, here, let me help you out." So she did some keywords, and she went through and edited our Etsy ads and all that. We sold $27,000 in them in less than 48 hours.
I undersold you, Drew. I was telling people like way early on here. A few people were on. I said it was like 15 or 20. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was like I literally had to call a friend that volunteers at the homeless shelter. We were literally putting people in from the homeless shelter to help run manufacturing. So you can do really well in that. Be prepared to make. You gotta be able to get like the orders out though, because you can lose money if you're not careful. But yeah, I was excited and also at the same time too panicked. So everything else stopped for like a week and a half. We turned our warehouses into full fabrication shops. So if you do your ads well, it's awesome.
I hate to ask this question, but I kind of have to ask the group kind of a question. As you can see in my name on my page, because I write Harleys and all that, and as you see some of my stuff, I'm waiting on that phone call from Harley Davidson to stop my making anything Harley. I looked at their website to try to figure out how can I get licensed for it. They will not talk to an individual. You have to be full manufacturing capability for them to even look at you.
Yeah.
They'll take your idea for free. You probably need things for it. You know, is anybody else? I'm waiting on that phone call for them to say, hey, if you don't stop, we're going to sue you. I had an actual customer, or another Facebook user said they've had that happen to them. They got the phone call saying, we'll take legal action if you don't cease to.
Disney is like one of the tops at it. They will absolutely slap you with something the moment. I haven't heard about Harley though.
You'll get a cease and desist. Unless you're making a bunch of money, you're fine. You'll get a cease and desist. And if you probably get cease and desist, my wife would probably be one that wrote you the letter for those, or wrote the letter for some of those companies.
Traitor!
But you'll get a letter. You'll get a letter, or you'll get a notification. And if you cease and desist, if you did like $1 million in sales, they'll probably follow suit. But if it's not even worth it, they'll just send cease and desist. That's the main thing. And it's hard. There's so many. How many people are doing Harley stuff and stuff like that? So I wouldn't give.
I've done.
Legal. I wouldn't get. Don't take any legal advice from me. But I just that would be my.
I've seen it on Etsy. And I'm like, how are they selling stuff on Etsy? Harley's got to be watching this stuff. And like,
they'll send cease and desist. They have a law firm on retainer that just cease and desist, automated cease and desist all day.
The way to
get the whole reason. If I make something that's junk, it looks bad on them.
Plus, they want to get a cut.
Any money off of it too. But if I make something bad, it really looks bad on them because it's known worldwide. I mean, Disney same way. They put their name on everything.
Traditionally,
Can I say something? My motto in life is it's better to beg forgiveness than ask permission. I think that when you're just a local artist.
I've seen that also.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I said. I just kind of questioned what the group thought about that.
For sure. Yeah. I mean,
if you get cease and desist, I would stop. But besides that, it's just like.
Hey, John Smith, I got a question for you. Hey, what kind of bit are you using for those cuts?
I'm just using. I've got basically 3 bits, and that's an 8-inch down cut spiral, and a 1/4 inch, and a 1/16 inch for really small detail.
You doing mostly down cuts?
Yeah, mostly down cuts, I think, because I haven't really tested per se what does better and what not. But I think the down cuts get your phrase away from the edge of the board.
Makes sense.
Where an upcut doesn't as much.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
they look awesome.
I use 3 bits.
You use 3 bits? What other bits are you using?
I was going to say I use a 1/4 inch, an 1/8 inch, and a 16 inch. That's basically 3 bits.
But they're all in mills, right? None of them. You're not using V bits or anything really typically, right?
I did, like I said, I did some V bits, and I did a 20-degree V bit, and I tell you what, it does amazing detail. Just let me show you real quick a Harley logo.
Oh wow!
So that's detail, and that's on a 2-foot by 4-foot flag.
So hey, how are you putting those bits in, like, say, easel?
It's a standard bit. It's an easel. Other than the 1/4 inch bit, is you got to go into the custom bit and type in 0.25 for the diameter.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the V bit, right?
Oh, the V bit is down below. It's got a V bit area, and it has the same thing.
But you got to have Pro for that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, that could be.
But Carbide Create doesn't require Pro for it.
That's why I recommend Carbide Create, because you can do the exact same things. It doesn't look as cool. The program doesn't. But once you learn it, you've got a lot more options. And you can control it very, very well. What's fun is if you actually take the time, for like Ruth was talking about getting into the actual G code, as you'll see that it produces the same G code, but it produces it differently. So you'll see it does it a little weird. Be careful with your feed and speeds, because easel creates a better slowdown on your curves. But Carbide Create does not do the same kind of, like, the actual coding isn't exactly the same.
That's good.
So whenever I was testing it to see how fast I could make the machine go, when you got up to like 60 inches per minute, the errors were much more significant in Carbide Create than they were in easel, because easel helps slow the machine down as it comes up on a curve or a corner.
Yeah, it does. I can definitely see it slow down.
With that in mind, yes, for me, when I do multiple bits, I will run them completely separate paths and label them appropriately. But I've actually done some very intricate, like army symbols and stuff, down to 4 inches by 4 inches was something that's normally like a solid foot by foot. It gets very detailed, but the level of your V-bit, the type and quality matters. I only run downcut bits. I would recommend MakerMade start to sell like packs of 5 downcut bits. The results are so much better with downcut bits than upcut, because we're not really running at a speed where the bits are going to heat up enough. Other thing, do not do my error and use your spiral bits for MDF. You're just wasting bits. Spiral bits will cut great on MDF, but you're just dulling them and wasting them. And that's just, it's going to do almost the exact same cut with a straight bit on MDF.
That's good to know, Lauren.
And then I know I sent it to you, Patrick. Feel free to share it with a group. I'm not in it to make a lot of money. Did you get to test that sanding?
I haven't gotten to test it. I got it from you. Yeah, but that's it's such a great idea.
If you get to put it in the machine, I'll tell you, I use it because I had to actually got a little reckless with my benchtop sander. And so I had to send it back, get it fixed. And I've been using it in my jigsaw almost exclusively for these ornaments, and it gets very smooth. I don't think you can see it, but yeah, I mean, it's a very smooth cleanup all the way up into this little ornament, the edge here. I mean, it comes out very quick and easy. If you want to share it with a group, test it first to see if you approve of it before you send it out. Yeah, and it's just a great little way. I
will definitely share it.
Hey, I got one question for you guys regarding bits again. I know you're saying you're using 3 different bits. Might be a stupid question, but for some people out there, including myself. So I know, you're using a 1/4 inch, I'm guessing, for the bigger cuts, right? And then you're doing 1/8 inch for your more detailed work. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
you can tell the system to use 2 bits. Tell it to do the 1/4, and it'll do as much as it can. Tell it to use the 1/8, it'll finish up what it can do 1/8 inch. And the easel will show you what it won't cut. It'll show you, you can tell it to tell you to see what areas it won't cut in red.
Yeah,
and it
seriously,
stands out.
you
And,
not
hey, I
have to
can't cut the 1/8 inch. So then you can go to a 16 inch and say, okay, now I can cut everything, or no, just these little spots.
This is so typical
The
CNC
trick,
call,
like
though.
Patrick and I were talking earlier, is when you cut that 1/4 inch,
Sometimes.
it does all the 1/4 inch cuts, stops, the file, file's done. You upload the next file, which is your detail. Then you got to change your bit, and you got to get the 0 back to the same. Because if your 0's deeper on your 1/4 or your 1/8 inch bit, deeper and not, you're going to see your outline edges are deeper.
How do you make that? How do you make sure it's 0 exactly the way it was? What's your tip? Your tip and trick?
What I do is I get it where I think it
Get
should
that
be.
camera.
I'll run a test cut on the new detail and see how it cuts. And then if it needs to come up just a hair or whatnot, I'll just adjust it a little bit. So run a test spot over out on your, create a little image out on the side that's not your cut, but yet it cuts the 1/4 inch part and then it cuts the 1/8 inch part. And play with your depth a little bit.
Can I show you all something real quick? I can't remember who I showed already, but I'm coming around. So, designed this. The factory was pretty dubious as to why I was doing it, but I really want to try it out. This is a compression 90-degree bit.
Yeah.
So, what you can see behind me, right, is I used a 90-degree V-bit to cut out they engrave the surface of the table, but of course I have to then switch over to an end mill to actually carve it out. This thing is designed to do both of those at once. So I'm going to test it, and if it works, we'll start selling it online. It'll become one of the standard bits that we sell with all of our kits. We've got an 1/8 inch one. This is the 1/4 bit. We've also got an 1/8 inch one that's exactly the same. So it's pretty sweet.
I was going to say another tip on the bits too. If you got to clear out a lot of space, I actually use an 1.5 inch plane bit that they use on
surfacing bit.
Oh, sorry.
A surfacing bit.
Yeah, a surfacing bit. Yeah, I use one of those. Just make sure that your depth per pass is really shallow, but it saves you a bunch of time to trying to clear out all that material versus like a 1/4 inch bit or something else.
Yeah.
I bought a 1-inch bit too, just in the regular, like a router bit from Menards, and I've tested a little bit. I've only done a little bit with my circles. I did it one time and have gone back to, yeah, the bigger the bit, if you're doing a large area, the bigger the bit, the better you are as far as time-wise.
Yeah.
And so those surfacing bits, is there an option to add that bit in Easel Pro?
Well, it'd be you change diameter to whatever diameter it is. It's not going to tell it. It doesn't care. Help me out here, guys. It doesn't care what kind of bit it is, whether it's an upcut or downcut. It all does the same thing.
Yeah.
So when you tell Easel that it's a 1-inch bit, it doesn't care what kind of it is. It just knows it's 1 inch in diameter. It knows how much area it can cut.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you got to know the feeding speed that works.
Know the perimeter of the cut, basically.
Yep.
So you know where to tool.
And I've done it before. You can cut with a V-bit Easel for free. The difference is you don't get that sharp corner.
Yeah.
So if you're doing, like I've done really shallow cuts with a V-bit where you barely see the corner anyway, and I've done them in Easel and they look just fine.
Yeah, that's what I do.
It's when you're looking for that nice sharp corner to your like T's or your letters like that. That's where you've got to go into, and that's where I personally do carbide create, and when I'm dialing in that 0, I basically move my cart all the way over my scene because I don't have a cool camera yet, so I'm looking forward to that. But and I just basically bump down one keystroke at a time, and I know exactly what I'm looking for. And my method really is I'll either just do it myself and I'll rotate the bit backwards. That makes sense, because if you rotate it forward as you're getting closer, it'll actually bite into the wood and it can damage your wood. But if you rotate it backwards, it'll make a tiny little scrape and something that's easily sanded away at the end.
Yeah, cool.
So that's
and tell me, guys, isn't Easel Pro like $100 and some a year?
Yes, it's not too much. It's just some people aren't ready to jump into that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, so if you guys are thinking of business, $150 a year is.
It's not a bad tax deductible price.
That's a good way to put it.
I don't.
Even what do you call it? Even Glowforge, Glowforge stuff like that. Glowforge is now charging $30 a month. For their service.
Also with Glowforge, you don't buy a file. When you buy a project file, you buy the right to use it once. And then
unless you buy unlimited license.
Unless you buy unlimited license, 100%. Yeah, but that's I know, crazy, right?
Well, they're doing a membership now too, where you can do a membership. Like they're doing like Adobe Stock, where you can use those as long as you pay for the premium subscription. But as soon as you quit paying for premium subscription, you lose access to them all.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I heard about Cricut as well. The new Cricuts.
Oh yeah, that's
new
a
Cricuts
whole.
are like that too.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here because we do have folks on the team here who are gonna probably try and get out for the for the evening. But I do want to say again, thank you everybody for joining. We do have the CNC call tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central, so you can join that if we want to keep the conversation going. But please, everybody, if you talk to him now or later, please give a big thank you to Chad, Barbara, Sarah, Peyton, Mike for joining, and the guys who presented. They're awesome. So thank you so much, everybody who presented. Thank you all for joining. This is fantastic. Let's keep doing it again. This has been great.
Thanks for having us. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for the invite.
Awesome. Bye, guys. Hey, Lauren, I sent you a message right now, Lauren. Let me know if you got it.
Yeah, I got it. I'm going to send you a message now.
All right.
Patrick, hey, Patrick, can I call you right after this real quick? I have something really exciting for you.
Okay. Sounds good, Drew. All right, bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Whew.
That was great.
Yeah.
People were excited about it.
They were freaking stoked.